What's going on, beautiful people? It is I, your flying locomotive, and faster than a speeding bullet SuperCliff, coming at you live with a brand new video. So lately, I've been thinking a lot about DC Comics, specifically the recent rebranding or restructuring, if you will, of DC Films to DC Studios. With James Gunn and Peter Safran now being the co-heads of the studio, they've recently come out and stated that one of the projects they're currently focusing on is a new Superman movie. In other words, a Superman reboot, one without Henry Cavill. Therefore, in this video, I want to talk about Superman. How can DC Studios make Superman work in the new cinematic universe? And what are the lessons that can be learned from Superman in the DCEU? Overall, what is the key factor to why Henry Cavill's Superman failed? In other words, how can we move forward with Superman? But before we continue, if you are new to the channel, then smash that like and subscribe button. That way you guys never miss out on anything that happens on this majestic channel. So what are you waiting for? Show some class. Hit that subscribe button. Thus, without further ado, let's get into it. Onward and upward. So I've been a fan of DC Comics for a while. As a kid growing up in Boston, Massachusetts, during the 90s, I used to watch WB Kids every day after school, and I would always make sure to catch the new episode of Superman the Animated Series. Now don't get me wrong, I was also a fan of the Batman Animated Series and the Justice League cartoon, but for some reason I've always had a more joyful experience when watching Superman. I remember back in the 5th grade during my tenure in Catholic school. Don't worry. The nuns didn't slap us with rulers. Pretty sure it was a 50s thing, but I digress. Whenever we had a half day at school, a lot of us would head over to the South Shore Plaza. It's where all the cool kids went. Back then, the mall had a WB store, and within it you had your typical WB merch. Looney Tunes, movies, Tom and Jerry, but behind the cash registers were two giant prop statues of Batman and Superman busting through a wall. Now at the time, I didn't know why I was so drawn to this part of the store, but looking back on it now, it was because these were two megastar superheroes. For me, Batman represented perseverance and justice. But Superman, the Man of Steel, he reminded me that we can all do good. And that no matter how dark it gets, there is always hope. To me, Superman represented the idea that the human race can be better than it is. And regardless of where we are as a human race right now, whether it's politics, climate change, money, depression, insert problem, we always have a chance to step out of the dark and into the light. And that's why people care about Superman. Not to mention that, given he's the American classic, Superman is the embodiment of the American dream. And regardless of how you feel, on paper and ideally, the American dream is about hope. It's about a brighter future. Now, where am I going with this? Well, check it. The question is, why did Henry Cavill's Superman fail? Now, the word fail is a pretty harsh word, especially when it comes to this particular situation. Whether you're a Zack Snyder mega fan or not, I think most of us can agree on that Cavill truly embodied Superman. Legit, if you were to give this man a look, I guarantee you'll walk away saying, yeah, that was Superman. Yet the question remains, why did Cavill's Superman not work amongst the mainstream audience? Well, here's what I have to say to that. Henry Cavill isn't the reason why the DCU version of Superman failed. Snyder's vision for Superman is what failed Henry Cavill and thus failed the DCU. Snyder tried to embody Superman as this Christ-like figure. That's cool and all, and I'm sure you can make an argument about Superman embodying Jesus. But when it comes to mainstream, most people 9 times out of 10 will say Superman embodies truth and justice. Superman is someone who inspires us to be better. He's Clark Kent, dude who works at the Daily Planet, from Smallville. He's the guy in love with Lois Lane. And he's the one where, no matter the situation, he'll always do the right thing. By no means am I a Zack Snyder hater. 300 is one of my favorite movies. Snyder is an artist. He understands what makes a film look appealing to the eyes. However, the Snyder palette should never touch Superman. If that said Superman is to be your front leader for the DC universe, aka your Iron Man of the DCU. Film is subjective. There is no right or wrong answer to how one feels towards a movie, but many people, including myself, when watching Man of Steel or Batman vs Superman, when it came to this version of Superman, never did I ever feel inspired. I never felt that Superman cared about anything or anyone. Instead, I was told by the movie that he did care. I was told he cared about Lois. I was told he didn't like Batman. I was told he cared about the human race. But I never believed it. The dialogue, the way Cavill carried this version of Superman as an unsure, uninspired, emotionless being, I never believed this was Superman. I didn't see the hero from the comics, the hero from the WB store, the animated series, the hero who has a Six Flags roller coaster named after him. I think it's called Bizarro now, but I digress. I didn't see Superman. But why did Henry Cavill's Superman not work? Well, it's because he wasn't inspiring. He wasn't Superman. I don't want to end this video being negative or critical. Therefore, here's my suggestion for James Gunn and their take on the Man of Steel. Make Superman happy. Make him joyful. Make him a character who inspires people to be better, to feel better. Make him Superman. So yeah, as always, I'm your majestic say over at SuperCliff, and if you guys are new to the channel, then do me a solid by smashing that like and subscribe button, and also the notification bell so that you'll never miss out on an upload, and so that you'll always be kept up to date with your favorite top tier comics happening in the comic book world. Now tell me, what are your thoughts and opinions on this video? What do you guys think of Henry Cavill's Superman? What are your hopes for the new upcoming Superman movie? Let me know down in the comment section below. And until the next video, peace. Giggity goo.